So, welcome everyone for this particular lecture on the rubric meaning. So, welcome once again for this online training of the rubric understanding from Dr.J.T.Kent's Repertory of Mind section. As we know that the mind section is one of the largest and perhaps the most important section of the J.T. Kent's repertory. Handyman even he states that in the organ of medicine in aphorism number 211 that in all the cases which has to be cured, the patient's emotional state should be noted as one of the most important prominent symptoms if one wants to record the true image of the disease in order to cure it homeopathically. So the preeminent importance of emotional state holds this good to such an extent that the patient's emotional state often tips to the scale in the selection of the homeopathic remedy. So the mind section contains all the mental and emotional symptoms from the Dr. J.T. Kent's repertory, and in various past homeopathic cases which have been frequently solved by focusing on physical symptoms, but by they have been also solved by considering the mental symptoms and giving most important to the mind symptom for the interpretation of the medicine. So here we will go for the first rubric of Kent's repertory, that is abundant rubric, as an example, so that subsequently we will go series wise, that is A series rubrics from Kent's repertory, B series, CA series, likewise till the last rubric we will be having dealing with the rubric meaning. So first of all here what I am teaching, so here this particular rubric understanding I will be teaching. So for the practitioners also it is useful, and for the final year students it is much more useful. How I will be teach? So obviously it is through this online mode, and how will I know if the students they get and understand? So generally the more you have this particular video hearing frequently, all those rubric minutes will obviously help the students to make the interpretation of the symptoms into appropriate rubric. So who am I teaching? So here myself, I am a Dr.Aarti Kognole. I am Professor Head of Repertory Department from Dr. J.J. Mukdum Medical College, Jaipur. So let us see or go for the first rubric of Kent's repertory mind section, which is present in the on the first page of Kent's repertory, that is abundant, and we have the cross-reference rubric for this is the forsaken. So here comes the picture as what we will see later on. So abundant actual meaning, word meaning of this is deserted feeling or recklessly unrestrained meaning, that is to give something formerly which is been held here. Even in we have heard about the Mahabharata. So in Mahabharata we have been known that Kunti, she was mother of Pandavas, and we say here that here Kunti, she has abandoned her first child Karna into the river. So here the abandoned word comes, that is she has given up her first child which was so much dear to her into the river. Okay, so this is the abundant meaning. So it means to leave altogether abandoned, left desolate or empty, or an abundant child, what we see as. So there is one condition which comes in relation to this abundant rubric is the abundant child syndrome. So which is the behavioral or a psychological attribute that a child develops as a result of one or both parents disappearing from their lives. It is very similar in nature to the post-traumatic stress disorders, and the symptoms which include in this abundant child syndrome, those are alienation from their environment, extreme changes in the state of mind and depression, guilt feeling, fear and uncertainty, sleep and eating disorders, physical ailments such as fatigueness or loss of appetite. So here the child tends to relieve from the shocking event by the way of the games or the play, because the role of imagination is much more greater for the young people. So typically these abundant children become increasingly quiet or aggressive, out of control, or very hard to handle or obstinate. So many children they suffer from this abandoned child syndrome, which have been left home of their own accord or have been forced out of their homes because of the rejection or a neglect or a abuse or so on. So generally in today's era we see this kind of abundant child syndrome nature, where in a case of nuclear family where the parents they are taking care of their only single child, but all the things which the child gets needed, all those have been provided within a few minutes or within a few hours to those children, to those child. So when the second child arrives in that case in a nuclear family, at that time all the attention, it but natural, the mother and father, their attention are towards the younger child. So here the first child, he may develop this particular kind of feeling of abundant nature. So while case taking procedure, a physician, homeopathic physician, he should know what kind of the child he's having this, whether he is having this symptom of abundant, whether he comes from joint family or a nuclear family. So all those conditions has to be seen by the physician, and whether he is having this kind of forsaken feeling or a abundant feeling, and this if it is present, obviously we can rule out the remedies on that particular basis of the rubric abundant. So hope that you have got this, understand this particular rubric abundant. Don't forget to make a mistake between the two words. Abundant is a different having word meaning, and abundant is different. Abundant means more, and abundant means it is a forsaken or deserted feeling, or a feeling of living left alone. Okay, so such kind of condition as we have seen in children, it may also be seen in geriatric cases. So as a elderly person, he may feel that their children, they are not paying attention to the old age, these old peoples. So that condition also, in that cases also, one should think of geriatric cases also, one should think whether this feeling of abandoned or forsaken is there or not in elderly patients. So here is within this short period I have tried to share this particular rubric meaning. And generally this rubric is been asked for even for examination. You may ask under the title short notes like rubric differentiation or rubric meaning. So here the remedies which are given in the Kane's repertory, those are alumina, aurum, sorinum and pulsatilla. Second grade remedies are argentum nitricum, lachesis, platina and stramonium. So here with we will just once again I will share the next coming rubric of from A series of mind section Kane's repertory. Thank you.